and you can't create in a state of worry. Well, you can, and we've heard a lot of really big songs that were created from scarcity, and they don't
Mhm.
speak to the soul. They don't have that transcendent, memorable thing about the music that people miss from the 70s and stuff, because we're trying to just survive and to make it and to compete and to sing into an unplugged microphone and try to get 200,000 hits. I mean, it's wild out here.
Hey friends, welcome to this week's episode of One Life Hands You Lennons. I'm your host, Lennon Seahawk. This week, I have independent singer, songwriter, and artist Cubs, spelled CVBZ. He's a very talented independent artist who has written a number of hit songs. In this episode, Cubs talks about doing music full-time and how he's been able to achieve that. He talks about bad record deals and how he's been scared away from them and why. He talks about money being a really dirty word because we quite literally kill each other over it. He talks about a company, Duetti, who has come in and helped him fund his career, similar to a way that Sound Royalties has and a number of other platforms. Duetti, for example, purchased Cubs's sound recordings. So they cut him a check for X amount of dollars. It was just below 100,000, he said. They own the sound recording, the master recording of that, and they collect all the royalties. He says that once they purchased it, they really started pushing it, and he started seeing a big uptick on the streams. The wonderful thing is he gets the check. He doesn't have to pay that back. They're collecting the royalties on that. He will not collect royalties on the sound recording anymore because he no longer owns the sound recording portion of that recording. Finally, one of the most important things that we discuss is yourself. You are your biggest hurdle. Figuring out what it is, all the negativity that's going on inside you, you typically take that and then project it outward. So your biggest obstacle will always be yourself. And I love these types of philosophical conversations. I think they really get to the root of some of the problems that musicians and artists have when it comes to working on music, writing music, producing it, touring. Any type of creative endeavor can really be hindered by those inner voices, inner saboteur that we typically have going on. So if you love what's in this episode and you love any of the other episodes that I published, I would really appreciate a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any other platform you listen to podcasts. It really helps the show get discovered by new listeners. If you or somebody you know would be a good guest for the show, there's a link in the show notes below to fill out for a guest request form. I'm always looking for guests to be on the show. You can follow me on socials, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube is where I primarily publish all the video content where the podcasts are. You could sign up to my email list as well. It's a Substack in the description below. That's where I notify you when new episodes like this are live. And lastly, if you love what Cubs is doing and all the music that he's working on, his contact information and socials will be in the show notes below as well. So without further ado, let's jump in to my conversation with Cubs. Is it Sean, right?
Yes, Lennon.
Lennon, Sean and Lennon. And that's actually funny because John Lennon's son's name is Sean.
That's right. Let's make some lemonade, huh?
Let's make some lemonade for sure, for sure.
I thought this was maybe going to be a communism podcast, and so I was trying to bone up on my Lennon shit, but
like Vladimir Lenin. No,
yeah,
not quite.
I guess I was off. Yeah,
That's a whole separate show. Communism and music business. I mean,
yeah, bro, communism.
get your Karl Marx Communist Manifesto book ready.
Yeah.
So where are you coming to us from? You have a beautiful backdrop here. This isn't a fake one that you put. This is an actual one, right?
No, this is my real backdrop. This is my office here.
Wow.
Yeah, this is my home. And I'm here broadcasting from underneath a 400-year-old oak tree. So there's a lot of wisdom here, and that's a native burial ground, a chieftain burial ground down there. So yeah, I'm out here.
Yeah, you're really connecting with the planet here. I love
right,
that.
Baby.
Where are you based? Are you in Oregon?
Los
Is that
Angeles.
Where you're from?
Los Angeles.
Oh, you're in Los Angeles.
But this
what part of Los Angeles are you from?
This is it's like Box Canyon area. It's like at the end of the valley, but this is about as close to Oregon as I could find out here. So
yeah,
we're working with what we got.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. So to get things started, tell us a little bit about who you are, how you got into music, and kind of how you got to where you are now.
I guess I'm just an infant and ancient soul in a body for a little amount of time, along for this really cool ride at this really cool time. And I was gifted the ability to be able to take music through me and out of me, and my experiences, and to connect with people through that. So that's the new answer, rather than I'm a musician, because it's
Mm-hmm.
so much bigger than that, and we're all so big.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess I got my start in acting when I was younger, as far as on the performing side. And then in high school, I just started like ripping instrumentals off of YouTube, like of old like backpack hip hop beats, and I was rapping for a while.
Yeah.
And rapping seemed to be the easiest. Well, it's not easy. I was horrible at it, but it seemed to be the quickest and simplest way to start recording myself.
Okay.
I didn't have to sing on key or in key or on tune, and
Mm-hmm.
I did that throughout college, and then discovered auto tune, and then we were off to the races after that.
Move over, T-Pain.
Yeah, bye. And yeah, and so yeah, just I guess my experiences through college and my kind of first spiritual awakening kind of led into me just singing and doing this thing I do now. And
Mhm.
it's been about 6 years of that.
So, at what point? I'm assuming you do music full time, or do you have a full time gig that supports you?
Music full time. I've
Music
never
full time.
I've never had a job. And well, I mean, like I got fired from a bunch of stuff in high school, but I like made a vow to myself to never work a job in my life. And hey,
That's amazing. That's kind of the dream for a lot of musicians. So I wanted to get into how you're doing music full time and what got you here. So you discovered auto-tune, you started making music. What was kind of the transition point of like kind of your first big break? What did that look like?
I just made a song that was true. I just made a song that was true. That's it. You don't need to be good. You just have to be true. And I sent it to some producer friends down here that I met along the way, and sent it to DJ Snake, and he was going to make it his next single. So that seemed like a good enough reason to move down here and give it a full time swing. And DJ Snake actually passed on it because he got Bieber's "Let Me Love You" instead, and he's like, "I'm going to go with this Bieber guy instead."
Yeah.
And so I put it out
Yeah.
myself, and it was because it was true, it resonated, and it sustained life into what I was doing. And
And what song is that?
it's called "Be Like You." It
Be
was my
Like You.
first release. Yeah,
And was
yeah.
was it going to be called Be Like You with DJ Snake, or was it going to be completely different?
You have no control when a DJ takes your song, so it would have been who of him to call it that, but who
Yeah.
knows? Who knows?
Yeah. So how you pitched it out to a bunch of your producer friends, and so DJ Snake passed on it. Then what was next? You had the song that you released yourself. How did it do? How did it do independently? Did you release it independently? Did another
Yeah, I
producer
mean
pick it up?
it killed. It was New Music Friday. It was viral top 50. I think it was like 4 million hits in the first couple weeks, and that was my initiation. That was my induction. It
Okay.
every label came a knocking, and it was kind of you know it was feeding off of that young, new, hot artist buzz
Hmm.
for a while, and that
Hmm.
really kind of catapulted into and leapfrogged into bigger opportunities with bigger artists. And I mean, the first 2 years of my career was absolutely effortless and charmed.
Hmm.
Um, there was nothing at all standing in my way because I was still at the point where I wasn't in my own way. I just was like, this is how things work, you
Hmm.
know?
I think that's a beautiful thing too. A lot of people don't realize that the biggest obstacle is themselves
Oh, yeah. In everything, always.
in everything.
And
In
not even
everything,
that, but just
actually.
everything that you think is wrong with anyone or anything, it's just you, just what you believe is wrong with you. And you are just dialing it in and projecting it out. And
Hmm.
that's been a huge lesson of mine, and a huge blocking of blessings too, is, is judgment. And especially within the music industry, you know, um,
Hmm.
jealousies and judgments and insecurities. I mean, you know, we kind of come into these characters as artists, but we're still just the wounded or healing inner children that we started off as on this planet, and we're just still moving through those same patterns and
Hmm.
those same cyclical lessons, and just on a bigger level,
Hmm. Hmm.
on a stage in front of 5,000 people instead of just with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And once you can overcome that, that's a really powerful thing. One thing my partner always tells me too is when we get inside of our heads, I always get inside my head and that self-doubt, that, all that stuff comes through. It's like, oh, you're not good enough. You have imposter syndrome. You'll never be good enough. All those types of things come flowing through. And he always says, you are going to make it. You're going to do very well. Those voices in your head are not real. I am. And it's just kind of like having that person, that real person tell you like,
Yeah.
hey, you're fine, you're doing well, you're going to be okay. Those
Yeah.
voices inside your head, it's just mumbo jumbo. It doesn't mean anything. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, it's real. You're
Yeah.
going to be fine.
Yeah. Those are the voices of the broken pieces of you
Mm-hmm.
that want to keep you broken.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we let go and we just trust, oh yeah, I can move down to LA and I can be famous in 2 years, or I can be famous right away and I can be rich and have the biggest songs on the radio. Like when when you just believe that, it happens. Like
Mm-hmm.
whatever we believe happens. And
Yeah.
80% of what we believe about ourselves is shite. And
Mm-hmm.
and then it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so it's really important, and your partner seems like a really beautiful teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and so and
Mm-hmm.
you're very lucky to have them.
Yeah. Yeah. They're very, very sweet and help get through a lot of those things. Cause sometimes it's just that simple reminder. You just need something like, hey, snap out
Yeah,
of it.
yeah,
Get out of it.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I want to dig in before. I know you don't have a whole lot of time yet, but I want to transition into, you mentioned that you vowed to never work another 9 to 5 job and you've been doing music full time. So
Yeah.
one of the biggest questions that a lot of artists have is like, okay, I want to quit my job and focus on music full time, but how do I keep the money coming in? I don't have many streams. I don't have much income right now, but how do I do that? And I know in the email we spoke about Duetti. I think I'm pronouncing that correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
Duetti. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because there's a lot of these types of companies coming up. Another one that comes to mind is like Sound Royalties, where they do
Hmm.
a similar thing. And it's a very, very, very interesting concept. So I want to learn a little bit more about that. How did it work for you? And what does it kind of look like?
So Duetti reached out to me while I was on tour, and they said, we are in the market of buying up individual and independent catalog. And to be frank, I was in kind of a icky deal for a while, and I actually haven't been seeing a cent from all of my biggest music since the pandemic,
Oh,
as
wow.
contingency of getting out of said deal. And so they're like, "Yeah, you want to sell this song?" And I was just like, "Well, I'm not seeing money on it anyways, and it's there." And what they did is they approached with a preliminary offer of like, here's 4 songs we're interested in. Here's a base value that we'll pay for them. We'd like to speak more. And I was just through the roof. It was awesome.
Mhm.
And I believe the multiples, I think the term is multiples, but it's basically like whatever math they figure out that the song is worth. I think
Mhm.
they are between 15 and 18% or times multiples or whatever.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it was extremely generous, and everyone on my team was just like, "Yeah, you should go for it." So um, you know, I instead of selling my whole back catalog, I sold 1 song, and it was enough to um, a life changing amount of money. You
Mhm.
of sustenance, of
Mhm.
abundance, and
Mhm.
really, um, I would love to make the distinction here because I've been trying to make that in my own life. Um, Money sounds like a dirty word to me now because we kill each other for it.
Yeah.
We literally kill each other for it. But what are we really looking for? We're looking for security. We're looking for love. We're looking to be seen, right? To be seen
Mhm.
in the I am and what you are. But the security is the big thing because if you can check off all the boxes of, okay, for an independent artist like me, for example, whether or not you have a big song, 90% of people out here in LA who are independent are chasing down $1,200 checks and royalty checks. Um, and scratching and clawing and suffocating the spirit out of music to try to write a 90s flip for Tiesto and hope that you get 2% on something that you'll see money from 9 months later. Like it's a grind out here, and we live in the
Mhm.
most expensive city, well,
Mhm.
second most in the nation.
Yeah.
um and so it is a grind, and it's difficult, but at the end of the day, like all of those factors that stack against you essentially is the same thing, or those little shitty voices inside of your head that are clamoring to take what you have and to drain your energy from you. So security in itself is not having to worry. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't create in a state of worry. I mean, well, you can, and we've heard a lot of really big songs that were created from scarcity, and they don't speak to the soul.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that transcendent, memorable thing about the music that people miss from the 70s and stuff, because we're trying to just survive and to make it and to compete and to sing into an unplugged microphone and try to get 200,000 hits. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's wild out here. So
Mm-hmm.
for a company like this to offer independent artists, which are scarcely secure in general,
Mm-hmm.
um, some cash to float them through 8 months of their life. For example, I got this money and I got myself a nanny. I just had a daughter, and I started to go into session 5 days a week. And I didn't need to try to write the next Bieber song or the next whatever, like Shawn Mendes pitch or whatever. I could go in and just work on Cubs music. And within 25 days, I made a whole album. And each time I went into the studio, I liked it more than the song that I said was my favorite song that I did the session before. And now I have 9, 10 songs that I'm going to be releasing for the next 9, 10 months. And that was all just from a place of relaxation, man. Just
Mm-hmm.
from relaxation and ease. And that's
Mm-hmm.
the only way real good music can come through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, music cannot be forced. I've tried to
Mm-mm.
sit down and just like, oh man, I got to get something out, but it's just like it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
work like that. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so what did your deal? I mean, granted, whatever you're comfortable discussing, what did your deal with Duetti look like? They came in and did they bought the whole master and publishing? Did they just buy the sound recording? How did
They
it work?
bought the master outright.
Okay.
And it was it was sub $100,000, but it was up there. And one of the really impressive things, which I was not expecting, is they actually added value to the song. It had
Mm,
plateaued at, I think, 18,000 streams a day, and I think now it's rising again, like the streams. So,
mhm,
I'm not seeing a dime of it, but I already did. So,
mhm,
and now the song it has a new breath of life in it.
mhm,
And because I kind of expected it to be more of a black rock thing, like we're just going to buy up all the catalog and let it sit there, and then whoever has the most monopoly money at the end of the day wins. But no, they're adding value to the song. Like, of course, why wouldn't they? They own it. But
mhm.
um, it's it's awesome. And in January, I was thinking about like maybe opening the door to some label deals. And the second that this money came in, I was like, no, no, I'm not
No
gonna
more
do
shitty
that.
deals. No more shitty deals.
Yeah,
Uh-uh. Yeah.
yeah.
You get a taste of it and it's like, I'm not going back. Hell no. Uh-uh.
No, no.
When you talk about adding value, what do you mean by how are they adding value? They just purchased the rights. How are they adding the value?
I think they must have gone in and souped it up in discovery mode on Spotify. Maybe they did another round of pitching, but
Mm,
they tinkered with something because the algorithm is trending up where it had plateaued for, I don't know, like 14 months. It was still doing great, but just, you know,
mhm.
just great.
When they give you the money, what's kind of the deal? They give you an advance. Do you have to pay it back? How are they
Nope.
making the money on the royalties from the sound recording?
Yeah. So basically, I mean, the onus to recoup is on them, but they're buying it just like a property deal, and then it's awesome because, um, it's it doesn't fall into the tax bracket of an earning. It's capital gains too. So I mean,
Ah.
it's like selling your house, you
Mhm.
know. Um, but yeah, as far as how they're adding value, I'm not totally certain, but I literally watched it the day that they bought it, like 4 days after. It was tick 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 tick. So it's pretty
Wow.
cool, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and just adding value to it for you is just signing that paycheck and making sure it clears.
Yeah, and it's just money in the account,
Yep.
and that's it. I don't owe anybody. Like,
Did you have any other companies like Duetti approach you, like sound royalties or anything? And what are some of the red flags and green flags that you would give? What advice would you give to a smaller artist looking to do something similar?
when an amount of money is presented to you that could take away what they call the call of the void,
What is that?
the whisper of the fear of the darkness of
Okay.
the I'm not going to be okay. I'm not going to be able to survive this. When
Mm,
you feel that alleviation, that's a test always.
mm, okay.
So I've made a lot of bad decisions because there was money on the table. So I would always say try to get three estimates, take the best one.
Okay.
Um, and I guess my advice is just go with God because you're going to make mistakes and you're going to F yourself over probably, and you're going to learn from it, and then better things are going to come. But as far as the green flags and the green lights that I got from this deal, um, was the bedside manner. First of all, they were super cordial, very supportive, um, and they had studied up. They had done their homework. They knew the metrics, and they expressed their desire for the value of what it is.
Hmm. So, how does an independent artist like yourself get these companies to pay attention to them? Do people is it good to seek them out?
It's kind of the catch with that because you do have to have a song that has been doing well. So I believe like their base entry level discussion opener is a song that has garnered 500,000 streams in the last 2 years.
Okay.
That would be a lower level deal, but
Hmm.
yeah, I think so. That's a requirement. I think you have to have participation, if not full participation, in the master. Um, and I think it's initially, I think it was kind of like it has to have a few million to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're looking for data points. How many streams do you have? Are they looking at your
Yeah.
followers? Are they looking at your brand? How many
No,
songs you have released? None of that?
no, no,
It's crazy.
no.
It's so you would think that because it's kind of opposite of signing a record label deal where you have to
Yeah,
have kind of a full
dude.
package, and now they're just like, no, we just want this one song, and we'll
Yeah, it's
give you
assets.
and we'll give you like an entire label's advance worth, and you don't have to pay it back.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. I'm like, deal.
Thanks.
One song, and
Later.
then you can come back next week for another one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna email them next week and be like, "Hey, this song's almost 2 years old. What's up, babies?
I need some. My
Miss
bank
me
account
yet?"
needs some fluffing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's super cool. Before I let you go, I want to ask one more question if you've got some time. Um, because you've worked with artists like American Authors, Fetty Wap, and the NOTD, and I want to know how you approach these conversations with these producers. And are you then pitching these songs that you're working with these people on to companies like Duetti, or is it just songs that you have done that you pitch to Duetti?
So they have to be songs again with Duetti that are created. They're out in the world. They're already doing well. Maybe they
Mhm,
could be doing better, but they show sustainability in the
mhm,
marketplace.
mhm,
Um, as far as it's a case by case basis with all the artists that I've worked with. It's either a manager sent it to their manager in Sweden, and it crossed the sea a few times via email.
mhm,
Um, you know, Bigger songs with people like the Chainsmokers and Cheat Codes. That was direct pitching. Um, and then with American Authors, I kind of go back with the lead singer, sent him the song, and he just said yes, and it happened. And um, it's a different experience with everybody that you collaborate with, and especially in this LA scene, especially around 2017 and 18, it was very much a DJ's world. So if
mhm.
you wanted exposure, you could write a song, and hopefully the DJ will keep you on it. Um, and I learned invaluable lessons from these collaborations that I did. Because I'm sensing that as the next question, but
Sure. Yeah, that's
I'm
great topic.
in the spirit of truth. I would say the most valuable thing besides exposure, financial gain, and just the overall experience of some of these collaborations is figuring out what kind of artist I wanted to be, how I made people feel through my music, obviously,
Mhm,
but in the industry. And it has really taught me how I want to and how I don't want to move through this world as Cubs, as a business entity, as a maker of music, as
mhm,
a performer, um, as an employer.
mhm.
And I'm forever grateful to those initial, big artist waves because I got to see like, I want to be like you. in this way and this way and this way and not that way. And I'm going to figure out right where the middle road is for me and how I want to treat young artists that come to my aid someday and write a song for me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's a really good point, is just treating people and who you are as a person and kind of your morals. I think that's a really important,
Yeah.
in a world with such negativity, it's nice to see positivity being perpetuated. I think that's so
Yeah.
important. Well, I will close this out here. I know you have
Thank you,
we don't have
Lennon.
much time. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Before I
You're
let you go,
crying.
how can the listeners follow you?
So yeah, I'm at CVBZ on all social platforms. Yeah, just go check out the Spotify. I'm going to be releasing a new song every month for the next like 9 months. And I have a new project rolling out called Raging Heart On. And
I love that.
me too.
I love it.
And yeah, I'm really excited for what's coming, and it feels big.
Amazing.
And there's a lot of spaciousness and love in this new music. So yeah, check it
Amazing.
out, Cubs CVBZ, and I can't wait to see you all out there in
Yes,
one way or another.
absolutely will do. Thank you so much, Cubs.
Yeah,
It's been a pleasure.
it was lovely,
And
Lennon.
I
Thank you.
would love to have you back on the show to have a much deeper conversation.